let's talk about some Marvel stuff. So this first rumor, or not even a rumor, he said it. It stuck out to me just because of what was said and then who said it specifically. Dave Bautista calls Marvel exit a relief because playing silly Drax wasn't all pleasant. I don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy.
Yeah, we actually talked about the makeup process and all that other stuff too. Wanted to do more dramatic roles. Just seeing him in Glass Onion, by the way, that movie was terrific.
That's what I wanted to lead with.
That shit was terrific. I don't know if he plays a completely different character from Drax. I mean, he's definitely different, but like
he's still kind of funny.
In terms of his seriousness, I don't know how different it was, but that movie was terrific.
So, two things about that stick out to me is that one, where originally, especially when it was, you know, Chris Evans with Captain America and RDJ as Iron Man, it would seem that a Marvel role was like so coveted. And so it's interesting to see guys like Dave Bautista talk about Drax, and then, you know, Chris Hemsworth talk about the direction he wanted to go with Thor. It's very interesting to see just more actors talking about the negative side of playing these roles. Just because for the longest, it just seemed like Marvel was the way to go.
Yeah.
That, coupled with the fact that it seems as of Glass Onion coming out, Dave Bautista is ascending quite a bit to be almost on the level of Dwayne Johnson, John Cena, and he's probably going to start getting more roles as of Glass Onion.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like he wants kind of out on this whole Drax thing.
Also, let's just call it what it is. They didn't give him anything. He was comedic relief most of the time, even though Drax never jokes. Right? I mean, but he was the comedy. It's just all it was. He was very limited in his scope. Mm-hmm. They didn't really give any of his background as to why he wanted to kill Thanos. I mean, they gave it, but we didn't see it. They didn't explore that. He didn't have a deep, serious conversation with anyone about it. Mm-hmm. It was more of just like a silly, yeah, I'm going to kill Thanos kind of thing. And then they literally turned it into a joke when they met up. So I can understand it. You know, being in a position to have a character like Drax being in the MCU so long, and he literally has not moved 2 steps off the square he started in. Yeah,
I mean, he's been, for Guardians of the Galaxy, he's been like the 4th, 5th, 6th guy that you even think about.
I don't know if I have any Guardians comics in the room in there, but if I did, if I gave you that and you read Drax, like if I gave you a Thanos Imperative, with Drax the Destroyer in there, and you read that and then saw the MCU version of the Galaxy, like imagine reading that as Dave Bautista, seeing this character and then being like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? And we're doing what? I'm going to say what? Why? Can I do something real? Yeah. Can I actually try to kill him? Like for real? Like not as a million cubes? I can understand it because there was a lot of lost potential, in my opinion, with that character in particular.
I just can't imagine somebody being okay with being behind, popularity-wise, being behind Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Rocket, and Groot.
Well, if we all find a way to grow and eat off of it, I guess it's fine, but I'd have to imagine that Zoe Saldana and Chris Pratt are making a little bit more than Bautista.
Oh, for sure.
Have to be.
And then on top of that, knowing that his career is ascending as an actor.
Sure. Yeah.
It makes perfect sense for him to kind of come out and distance himself somewhat, because now he wants to move on to bigger and better, which, again, bigger and better than Marvel as a role.
Yeah, see, that is another thing that stuck out to me. Maybe the quintessential Marvel MCU role is not what it used to be. It sure is in terms of money, obviously, and in terms of just sheer eyeballs and influence, right? Attaching your name to the Disney brand is a rubber stamp that still carries a lot of weight.
Sure.
But maybe amongst the actors who are actually doing this work and watching it with a more critical eye, maybe it doesn't have quite the luster that it used to have. It's more so of, well, yeah, I'll, suck it up and work for Disney for a couple of years to get my corporate legs kind of thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to, man, I've always dreamed to have a Disney MCU role. It just maybe not that luxurious as it used to be. The movies certainly haven't continued that reputation in the last year and a half. So
yeah,
it could just be like maybe you feel like you don't want to be part of a sinking ship, or you don't want to be part of a downtrend. Right?
Yeah.
Who really wanted to be part of the Fox X-Men towards the end? Who wanted to be in that? Who really wanted to be in Dark Phoenix?
Oof.
It didn't really seem like anybody wanted to be there in the movie. So it's like, who really wanted to be there?
That is a fact.
I'm not saying that's where we're at with the MCU, but it most certainly isn't at its most popular at the moment.
Moving on, you got some news about Don Cheadle.
Oh, yeah, Donnie Boy. So he was talking about being casted as Terrence Howard. Apparently, there were rumors about him snaking Terrence Howard for that job. Had you ever heard that?
No.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first things he was talking about. I guess him denying that he took the job from Terrence Howard. But then he described the circumstances in which it was offered to him. Do you know Marvel gave him 2 hours to decide whether or not he wanted to take the job? And if not, they were going to move on to the next one?
That's crazy.
First of all, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Move on to the next one?
Who is
the next one? What?
Yeah.
But yeah, and apparently while he was deciding, he just so happened to be at his child's birthday party, laser tag.
That's
it's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
What actors do you treat like that? Now, I can get at the time probably that they were asking him. That was early MCU days, so that was like Iron Man 2. So Iron Man that came out First Avenger didn't come out till right before the Avengers. Thor maybe had come out by then, and the Hulk. So they were just starting to get their steam. Yeah. They hadn't hit their stride yet. They hadn't even made the first Avengers movie. So now, I'm taking all that back. I was getting ready to say, well, I can get it kind of if they was at their peak and they was just kind of big dicking it. But when they recasted Rhodey, dog, that was early. The only thing you had at your belt was Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and maybe Thor. Maybe. I can't remember when the first Thor came out.
Iron Man 2 came out May 7, 2010. Thor came out May 6, 2011. So after Iron Man 2.
Yo. So literally actually, Iron Man, Hulk, and Captain.
They didn't have Captain America yet.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying Captain America. Captain America didn't come out until that was the last one.
It was the next movie after Thor.
After Thor and right before the Avengers movie, right?
Yes.
No. Y'all didn't have shit to be calling somebody up and be like, hey, yo, tell us in the next 2 hours or it's going to somebody else. Who you think you talking to?
They literally had Hulk and Iron Man.
I know damn well you didn't call RDJ with that kind of energy. I know damn well you ain't called Chris Evans talking about tell us in 2 hours or we giving it to somebody else.
We're on to the next one.
I know you did not. I know you didn't. I feel like I listened to this a while ago. When E-Man said, and he said, man, actors will say anything when they under contract. You got to get them after they get out of contract to really know how they feel. I feel like that every now and again we get something from one of these, Angela Bassett or a Don Cheadle or something like that. And they'll be trying to tell us like how really fucked up this stuff it really is for real without, hanging themselves out to dry. Like, yeah, I just so happened to be at my son's birthday party and they called me and said I had 2 hours to decide, or they move on to the next actor. Yeah, that doesn't sound at all pleasant. That doesn't sound like a good way to start off a working relationship with an employer.
Yeah, no.
Tell me now, or you can't have it anymore. So, because also now I'm thinking, so what is the reason for the haste? Does somebody else in the room really want the other person? Am I going to have to work under somebody who wanted another guy? Why did the deliberation lead to me only having 2 hours to decide? What is the haste? What's going on? You know what I mean? That even taking the position.
And not that it matters for Don Cheadle, but I want to know who the other person was, if there was another person. They could have said that to bluff.
Let's theorize. Because you think about it, think about the black actors that ended up in the MCU and how they could have gone a different way. At that time, there was no T'Challa as Chadwick Boseman. There was no Falcon, Anthony Mackie. Both of them boys could have been online to be Rhodey. Lord have mercy. Thank God you said yes, Don.
I can see Mackie being Rhodey.
Rhodey, absolutely. It's the same character. Can we be honest about this for a second? Falcon and War Machine are the same person, essentially. Like, they are the same prop to a white staple character in Marvel. They are the same person.
No, that's a fact.
They both wear the American flag. They're both the sidekick to the white main title character.
Militant
they are
men.
the same real militant black men. You know, they are the same damn person. They both dated white women. Oh, shit.
Oh, damn.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, they are literally the same character. But, yeah, I could see absolutely Anthony Mackie going from being one soldier wearing the American flag to another soldier wearing the American flag.
I don't know. Well, I could see them wanting Chadwick to probably play that, but I don't know. I see Anthony Mackie playing that way more than I see Chadwick playing it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Chadwick was more built for a lead role. Yeah. He was more built to be a title character himself, I believe.
Especially with what he went on to do around that time. Like, it just made sense he started ascending.
Maybe that's why Anthony Mackie said no one else could play him, because the distinction between himself and Chadwick Boseman was so prominent. Yeah, no, that guy over there, man. You know, he's so much better than
We're going into Anthony Mackie playing a lead role, and I still can't see him as a lead role all like that.
Oh, man.
So that's
going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, no, we'll see. But I think that's a good segue into Black Panther
being released.
And how they're using Black History Month to prop up some streams.
Here you go, Nick. I mean, black people. Give you something special. Just in time for Black History Month. You know that movie that you didn't come out and see a couple months ago, even though it's been in the theaters since November? We gonna put it on stream service, y'all. Woo-wee. Come get some of this good Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever for Black History Month, y'all. Yeah.
Come watch this Black Death for Black History Month.
Hey, Melvin, can we sell Juneteenth stuff in February?
Yo.
I mean, it's the same. It's not the same. Never mind. No Juneteenth. Just Black Panther.
That is crazy. Yeah, no. I don't want to see Black Death for Black History Month. Just for what it's worth. I don't.
Oh, my God, man. Yeah, no, that's funny. It's hilarious. It's also, shout out to Perp Minded. Shout out to the boy Jeff, because he definitely caught that shit. He caught that shit.
He caught it very early. Like, shit was just in theaters. He's like, yeah, they're going to put this
out. They put that shit out Black History Month.
There was a second where he hesitated and said, maybe Martin Luther King Day. But he caught it very early.
My God.
So shout out to Perp.
Are they going to release Captain Marvel on Pakistani Day or, Pakistani Heritage Day? Is that what's going to happen? Are we going to get a re-release of Shang-Chi on Asian Heritage Day? Is that what's happening? We going to re-release wild. Moon Knight on the Sabbath? Is like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Is it even necessary to distinctly separate the title like that? Because, I mean, you know what? Never mind. That ain't where I want to go. I don't want to start a debate over whether Black Panther is adequate black representation, because we'll be here all day. But could have called that one from a mile away. The one thing to keep in mind with Black Panther Wakanda Forever is that they are still trying to make money off this movie. So the next phase after they're completely tapped on the theatrical run is linear properties and streaming services, right? They've already allocated money out of that budget. No one seemed to think that was a red flag, that they had pretty much built $80 million of their box office gross already being reported, yet they haven't launched this thing on a singular linear network or streaming property yet. So that $80 million is pure projection, but it's still being reported into the gross. Any case, we're going to see, we're going to have to start to get some of that money back. So I'll be interested to see some of the Nielsen ratings numbers on Black Panther Wakanda Forever once it does actually drop on Disney Plus, and see how many people now are even going to support it that way. You know, now that we don't have to go out and see that $15 come off your card to go watch a movie and eat some popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, you can sit at home and see if it becomes more popular. I mean, that happens. Now, they're not going to make $100 million off of streaming from Wakanda Forever. That's just not in the cards for it. But it's interesting to watch because they essentially, because they were paying themselves, right? They're releasing Wakanda Forever on linear networks mostly that they own, in ABC and Freeform and you know, whatever relationship they have with Turner and TNT, and then also on their very own streaming service. So they're essentially able to count themselves up what they're going to pay themselves for the licensing fees of the movie. Does it actually generate that much money? Is something that you'll be able to point back to and be like, they gave themselves $80 million and no one's watching this shit. You know what I mean? That's how you start getting into areas of fraud. It's one thing to say, okay, we're going to give all of our properties that we make here in studio, we're going to release them exclusively on our streaming service, and we're going to pay ourselves for them and report it as profit. Okay, that's one thing. It's another thing if you're your own best customer. And in this case, you're literally only buying from yourself, because what other content is on Disney except for Disney content? You are your own best customer. You have this cycle of money that has to resolve itself at some point, that you're just moving and shifting back and forth to yourself. At some point, that somebody got to pay the piper. Somebody has to pay something.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you see relationships with TBS and Turner still come into play, where you're still going to see MCU movies pop up over there, because they need more than just the $80 million they promised to pay themselves.
Sure. Makes sense.
Another thing to keep in mind with this is that as we get more information about marketing spend continuing to be a problem for not just Disney, but multiple people, multiple entities in the business of marketing and advertising, those costs continue to skyrocket. And so something that we talked about a couple weeks ago is that the potential of Marvel in this phase, at least with Wakanda Forever, had moved into a 1-to-1 spending model with marketing to production. So if that's the case, Wakanda Forever, money-wise, had to be closer to $1 billion than that of $820 million to start turning profit. So that's just another thing that is kind of working against them in this resolve. Not only did the theatrical run kind of die off a lot quicker than they expected, but now are you going to be able to recoup any of this money in the streaming numbers? Are you going to be able to recoup it in the merchandising? That's a fail. We already know that's done. Somebody sent us a video the other day of them going to random stores and checking the clearance sections of the toy aisles, and it's just nothing but Wakanda Forever. But I sent you that. We had a picture of that back in early December. Yeah. Early December they had stuff. That the movie had only been been out a couple of weeks. It was already on clearance. People talk, oh, that's just a coupon. That's a coupon. That doesn't mean the whole thing. No. It's a big ass coupon, boy.
I was gonna say, even if it is a coupon.
Multiple retailers, mainly Target, seems to be the main partner in shipping some of these Hasbro products, but nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it, which ultimately gives me confidence in a redirection in the next movie. If we get a next movie, it's a lot of stuff going on at Disney, Marvel right now. Well, mainly Disney, not so much Marvel. Marvel has got to get their shit together, but Disney as a company got a lot of stuff going on, and there could be stuff on the horizon for that company that a lot of people are not prepared for. Yeah, you know, they're talking about selling ESPN, selling ABC, selling core parts of their umbrella right now because they are not financially in the best of shape. Still talking about doing layoffs, still talking about doing cuts, even after Bob Iger's come back. It's because they're not in a good financial position. Changes coming that a lot of people are not prepared for.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. Over New Year's, I went to St. Louis, like I told you before, and we were just kind of having a conversation amongst, family, friends, whatnot. And somehow kind of Forever came up, and all of them were like, yeah, I planned to go see it, but, they just didn't go see it. And it was just like, it was weird for me to see like all these people who were like, they didn't have any recast views or anything like that. They were just kind of casuals for the most part. Mm-hmm. But they were just like, yeah.
It didn't have the same energy. It didn't have the same energy because this was a kind of mutation of what the first movie was. There were aspects of it that were the same, and there was enough familiarity to let you know that they were attempting to try and get back to what they captured in the first movie. But you just didn't do the things that you did in the first movie to make us feel connected to it. You cut certain people out of the story. Not even just talking about T'Challa. I mean, you cut certain demographics that built this title up, and you pushed them. You didn't even push them to the background. You pushed them completely out of the story.
Yeah.
Not gonna get into that too much, but see a Black Panther review coming soon.
So thoughts and prayers go to Jeremy Renner. Just because he had a freak accident with a snowplow, from what I'm hearing, and injured his leg pretty severely. And so, just for sure, thoughts and prayers go out to him. And, I know he seems to be recovering after having surgery. So, yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, man. That is speaking of freak accidents, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts on the Marvel news. Do you have any other Marvel takes that we missed today? Put them in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for more MCU content.
Absolutely. And we have our latest video besides this one, which is the updated Avengers lineup. So make sure you check that one out. And then also make sure you subscribe. Anytime we get any Marvel rumors, we'll be sure to talk about them.